Okay, it's going to be a VR to PlanetRigo. It's my third shot at this. Got hay fever today. I keep sneezing. He did a video. I'll put a link to it down below. It's a good video. Some concerns and such. One thing he brought up was his concerns for the next generation, the youth. What are we leaving behind for these kids? And I'm going to try to. I go off on a tangent when I explain this. Most of us, I'll just use simple terms. Most of us see a socialist government coming. We're becoming a socialist government with all the lack of respect for the Constitution, ditch the Bible, same-sex marriage, government regulation. And we've got this government that's spent itself into oblivion. Headed for ruin, but we see the socialist kind of thing going on, okay, and then some sort of demise of this whole system. And cat's out of the bag. We're already in a socialist system, okay, but just for sake of argument, socialism is coming. Let's say. I think most of us have that perspective, that point of view. That's why we'll watch these videos. We're part of these groups. But that is our point of view, that we have this, things are going to get bad, and they're going to get bad like this. There's going to be a collapse and all this sort of thing. Like I said, I'm just keeping it real general. Otherwise, I get off on a tangent. The kids today, the high schoolers, the junior high, the college kids for the most part, I believe. I'm painting with a broad brush. This is a generalization. What we see is this big nasty thing coming, okay, this thing that we fear or that we're concerned of. They don't. This is not a bad thing to them, okay, because they've already been fed and indoctrinated with this idea of what needs to change, what's wrong with us, and what we, this kind of thing. So what I think is most of the kids today have gone through public schools and all this sort of deal. This socialism that we fear, they'll embrace it. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it's already, I think we're too far, we're too far into this deal. I mean, I don't talk to people much, younger people so much anymore, because when I start to talk about it, if I talk about these kind of things, whether it's the Bible or the State of the Union kind of deal, they just think I'm extreme. And what it is, I just think they're asleep, And so we have this I guess you'd call it a dichotomy. So if we have this fear that this big nasty thing is coming, and we're going to see the demise of our entire system. What they see, or what they've been taught, is they're going through a transition. We're all going through this transition, and born of that will be this utopia, this idea that they've been fed. Okay, so we see this bad thing coming, and they're anticipating utopia. And so if that's the case, if I'm even close, then when this big bad thing arrives, they won't know it from good or bad. I just don't see. I see a lot of people that if you want to have your borders of your country actually be borders where people can just walk through. Look at the current conversation going on. Well, then you're a racist. Okay, if you want to keep people out of your country, then you're a racist. Okay, if that's the way they're going to take, because they want to be inclusive somehow. But I think just again, completely different point of view. And so if we're taking our point of view and trying to impose it on these other people, hoping they see the same thing, that can't be done. It takes a different kind of education, and they're not going to see things from my point of view. Okay, so we have a concern about what will happen. Maybe it won't be so bad for them, for the next generation, because they're already halfway there. They're already indoctrinated into the mindset of this type of socialist, social engineering and all that kind of stuff. It may not be a big crazy thing for them. We're looking back like, man, we're losing our rights, or we're losing our, all this government oppression and our liberties and everything else. Well, they never had them. And then so it's easy for them. They're easy to make these changes. This might just be one big transformation where they just fall into this thing and think it's all just hunky dory. So I can be totally off on this, but I think this thing that we fear is something that many of them are willing to embrace. I think it's wrong. I'm not saying it's a good thing that would be happening, but they have a different point of view, and it's already unless you can affect that, I don't see much change going on in that regard. But wow, I did it in 5 minutes. The last time I got off on legalization of marijuana and same-sex marriage, and I was all over the board. But anyhow, yeah, we should worry about those kids and what's being left behind for them, the next generation. But I don't think they're worried about it because they don't know any different. They're already part of this thing. Okay, we might be fighting it. They've already accepted it unknowingly, just from what they've been taught. Anyhow, I could be wrong. Feel free to disagree. Love you, and God bless.
But the film is a sad thing for she's lived it 10 times or more. She could spit in the eyes of